In the wake of demonstrations around the city over the weekend, and of course for the past little while, there's been a lot of criticism hurled at the administration, at the mayor, and also at Montreal's police chief, Fady Dagher. Most recently, of course, we had the anti-NATO riots, which raised a lot of eyebrows, brought to Montreal some publicity probably it didn't want. And the chief has graciously acknowledged that, you know what, maybe things could have been better, but he has also decided to come on the air and maybe do some explaining to us as well. So, Chief, thank you for your time. I do appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
We have spoken in the past, and I know when, this whole idea of the pro-Palestinian riots, the encampment in McGill was happening, it's now been 14 months that these sort of protests, demonstrations, call them what you will, have been going on. I want to just for 1 second leave behind, and I can come back to it, the anti-NATO protests, and talk about the fact, because when I asked our listeners during the week, a couple of days ago, why this is still happening, that people were not being arrested, when clearly there have been violations of laws, of rules and regulations, and said, you know what, is this the mayor who has told the chief of police not to do this, to be more tolerant, or is this the police decision on their own? Why have there not been more arrests?
Actually, it's none of them. Nobody asked the police to be more tolerant, and we don't decide to be more tolerant. I'm very grateful to be able to speak to the community to make them understand how we work. First of all, when you mention after 14, 15 months, we are over 400 demonstrations. When you mention there's no arrest, we have around 100 to 109 arrests already made concerning those demonstrations or concerning the conflict in the Middle East. So that's why it's important that I can pass the message. It's been more than 100 arrests. What you see on the media, like what happened Friday night, that demonstration, it's not Montreal. It's Montreal at one moment, one evening, and one place. One moment, one evening, one place. Why I'm mentioning this is because of over those 400 demonstrations, we are talking about 2.5%. Maybe around 10 to 15 events in those 400, where we had some incidents and some windows that are going down, broken windows and all that. So we work with legislation, Mr. Brian. We work with the law. We are not the law. We represent the law. If you give me the tools that I need, I'm going to be able to work. I have a box of tools. If I don't have the tools inside those boxes, I can't do more than that. So we used to have some rules, like giving us rules, like we can intervene when people wear masks when they go inside the demonstration. That article, that rules, we don't have it anymore. We lost in 2015. Actually, we had the city of Montreal got sued and we lost it. So we don't have the P6. Other things. When we used to in the riot in 2012 during the movement of student movement, I remember we used to have so many riots every day, evening and night, and we used to have the rules or the power to be able to surround a massive group, not letting them to go inside demonstration because we had information that they were going to do some criminal act. There's two things. First of all, the court didn't like a law when we used to detain the people for a few hours because we wanted to prevent when they're going to break the windows. So we lost some cases there. But also, those people that were there Friday night, this is just an example, they were not there for the riot. They were there just to break windows. They knew exactly what they were doing. But we have to be able, as a police department, to observe. Let's say I see that young gentleman filling up his backpack by putting inside some rocks to be able to throw it later. If I can see it, for sure I'm going to be able to prevent and to arrest him or detain him before the event. But they get smarter and smarter. They go smaller and smaller group and they infiltrate the demonstration. They go inside and they stand by. People are very peaceful. People are just walking with the demonstration. They know what they're doing. And in a few seconds, the event of Friday night took 5 to 6 minutes. And boom, we had those windows going down. And
but you're referring to... I understand that,
So
and I certainly understand the part about them infiltrating this demonstration. And you obviously, if it's peaceful up until that point, you obviously can't make an arrest. I get that, but there have been incidents in the past, where perhaps a group had defied a court injunction, right in front of a synagogue, for example. Demonstrators were there; they were not allowed to be there. Nobody got arrested. Those kinds of things have happened over and over again. I think about the Israeli embassy in Westmount Square. People are sometimes who live in that area are threatened. They're scared to go outside. Why haven't arrests been made there?
but we cannot do an arrest because people are demonstrating in front of the embassy or the consulate. The freedom of do the demonstration of from the embassy, it's a basic freedom. It's the how you see an état
No,
de
it's a
droit.
freedom for a peaceful demonstration. Once it's no longer
Yes,
peaceful, it's not
but
legal anymore.
when it comes to peaceful, Mr. Bryant, the knowledge of peaceful, different opinion comes to that. Us, we work with the lawyers, with our lawyers, and then our lawyers, when they look into the peaceful, what it means peaceful, is the people are screaming, demonstrating, but not being violent. It's still a peaceful. I know it's being very frustrating for most of the neighborhood around the embassy or around some synagogue to see repeatedly demonstration coming back. But us, we cannot arrest or stop a demonstration that's not being violent because the human right, the right of demonstrating.
So
I'm sorry,
if threats are being chanted and these things that typically are not allowed
if
in a
if
demonstration,
as
there's nothing you
soon
can do about
exactly.
that?
No, as soon, be careful. As soon as I have a clear threat, like threat of killing somebody, a threat of actually we will intervene as soon as possible in a secure way, but we're going to intervene. That's why I mentioned that we have over 100 arrests. Sometimes, Mr. Bryant, and it's important to hear what I'm saying. It's sad to say, but sometimes you don't see the arrest happening right at the moment in front of you because you saw something very threatful, and it was threatful, but we will do the arrest maybe 4 days later, 6 days later, because we had enough proof, and then we were able to arrest that person. People expect us to arrest the person in the crowd at the moment when they say those words. It's extremely difficult to do it right at the moment, but the arrest will happen. That's why I was mentioning in the
Why haven't we
introduction.
heard? Now you're mentioning this now, and I'm sure this comes as news to many of our listeners that there have been over 100 arrests over the past 14 months from these demonstrations. Why
I did,
haven't they
Mr.
been
Bryan.
publicized?
I did, Mr. Bryan. I don't know why people are. That's why I'm happy to be with you because I can even show you how many times we mentioned those 100 arrests. We did in the past, but it's like people forget, and we can't. And it's been very frustrating. So we have a narrow vision and saying doesn't make sense. But we see the pictures in Montreal doesn't make sense what's happening in Montreal. But those 100 arrests,
Okay.
we did mention them. I'm going to give you an example. When the people shot at the school, the Jewish school, during the fall of last year, one of the two events, we did arrest the suspect, and we mentioned it. It took 6 months. And people say, how come it takes 6 months? Because it was very complex. And trust me, we put all the effort to be able to arrest that person, and we did arrest it. But nobody talks about it.
By the way, after they're arrested and charged, I mean, what's the outcome been? Do you know?
Oh my God. Oh, this is a part that doesn't belong to the police department. We've been making so many arrests, and the sentences. I'm sorry, Mr. Bryan. That I gotta let the justice
Okay. No, I
system
just wondered if
to
you knew.
answer for that.
I would ask you
No,
one other thing. We had the premiere
sure.
yesterday come out. I don't know if you heard this. I'm sure you did by now, suggesting that hey, if Montreal police need help, they're prepared to send you help from the SQ. What did you react to that?
I mentioned it. I answered back in the media that we had the SQ with us. We had the QPP with us. Friday, and Saturday. I even met them on the field to thank them to be with us. It wasn't about, trust me, it wasn't about the number of police officers we had that night. We had plenty, and we had prepared ourselves to some threat of the OTAN event. But again, I'm gonna give you an example, and I'm hoping that people can hear me. When the riot was walking on the street, at one point we heard about the window being broken, and we heard about the painting being thrown at the cops. We give the green light, but before giving the green light, we took a minute or two. Why? because at one point the crowd was directing to the shim, to the emergency. So if we charge the crowd and they go inside the emergency, we will have some very dramatic event inside the emergency. And the other group was walking over to the highway, Ville-Marie Highway. I didn't want anybody to throw themselves on the highway. So we had to make sure that we had the right moment, right time, and didn't take 5-10 minutes. It took 1 minute, and then we give the green line. All those aspects, I have to be able with my team to analyze them, make sure that we are secure, and let's go in.
Chief,
Nobody have any. We don't have any fear. Trust me. My cops don't ask more than to be able to go in and intervene.
Okay.
And it's been really frustrating to see those images about Montreal. But again, it was one moment, one time, one place. Yes, you're gonna tell me, but Fady, it happened 10 times more. Yes, but over 450 events.
Chief, we're going to run out of time, and I do appreciate the time. I just want to ask one last thing. There's a quote today in a column in the Gazette by Tom Mulcair that says he's asking if anti-Semitism in Montreal is being rationalized because essentially, if you are calling in one of these protests for destruction of Israel and attacking or harassing Jews, but you're not breaking windows, are police being too tolerant in not arresting those individuals and having them charged?
Well, when I mentioned to you about the 100 arrests that we did, it wasn't only about the demonstration. It was about a hate crime. Just to give you an example, when we have a fight, not hate incident, a hate crime, right away we have a file open and we do some arrest on those people. So, anti-Semitism, I mentioned it publicly, and I'm not hiding. Au contraire, the opposite. I keep telling it's I'm very worried to see how much we have anti-Semitism events, and it's very crucial that the population call the 911 or our cops. Then they're gonna tell you, yeah, but Fady, they not all know about hate incident or hate crime. Well, we have a special team called MISH, and the Jewish community, we are with them every month and a half. They know about the group MISH who have specialized in hate crime. So we've been doing some arrests about the hate crime incident. And but again, the communication, people don't hear us again talking about it enough.
All right, Chief, we will have to leave it there. I thank you. I appreciate the time as always, and I wish you luck.
Please, Mr. Brent, invite me again because I think the communication is very important with the community.
I appreciate that, and we absolutely will. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.